What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we dive back into Arena on our free-to-play account, where we are currently doing a free-to-play challenge where I started a free account, did not use any money to get any sort of boost, and used any and all methods that a free-to-play player does have access to build ourselves our first standard deck that is pretty competitive for the most part, which is definitely pretty awesome. I gave myself a month to do this in. I ended up doing it about half that time. And in today's video, we're going to actually be diving into some more Crimson Vow drafts. We saved up enough gold to do one quick Crimson Vow draft with our end goal of really just trying to save up our gems, seeing if we can buy the Mastery Pass now by the time the month is over. Even though the Mastery Pass for the most part really isn't in our favor for, standard Magic, it is something that I am going to strive to do because I do think it's something that is also physically possible here in Arena. We are kind of getting to the tail end of our challenge. We are a little bit over a week away from the end of the month by the time you are seeing this, and it is definitely something that is kind of interesting, that it is something that is accessible. It is something that you can do if you kind of focus and give yourself goals and kind of build over it on over time. It's not something you can do on day one, but it's something you can probably do within the first couple of weeks of starting brand new here in MTG Arena. It's definitely, like I said, it's definitely been an interesting journey. There's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs. Some of the economy problems with MTG Arena are very apparent here. And this challenge has kind of shown me, there's some holes still, I think, as Arena to do things better for new players of the game in general, just kind of showing them better ways outside of the initial tutorial of where they can go first before really diving into just the basic standard, play queues and or alchemy queues, I would say, right off the bat. Other than that, this has definitely been pretty fun. I am going to dive into our draft here. I did get actually a pretty decent daily quest here, so I'm probably not going to re-roll it, as it is play 40 lands for 750 gold, which is definitely very good. The other thing too is our daily has reset, as well as our weekly quest. And we'll just kind of play our draft, kind of see how many wins we get. And if we don't get, up to 4 or 5 wins, I'll probably end up just playing a couple extra games just to kind of finish it out. And I do think playing the 40 lands is probably going to be something that is going to be possible within our draft here. So I'm going to dive into the quick draft. I am going to probably talk through my picks as I pick them. So if you want to watch that, I am going to do a little bit more of a deeper dive when it comes to doing draft. I do have a tool called Untapped from Untapped.gg, which is a draftsmith tool where I get ratings and stuff like that on cards within those packs that kind of give me recommendations of what to pick, show me what the best cards are from those packs. But overall, it's definitely something you don't necessarily need, but it does make the drafting process a little bit easier. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. It's just a tool that I personally use here in MTG. So we enter into the tournament and are into the draft, and we do get a pretty decent wide range of cards. So we do have quite a few options here to pick right off the bat. Overall, I mean, this pack is actually pretty decent, and we can kind of go multiple ways when it comes to overall colors. The one thing I will note here is if we go say something like a Skull Scab, we will pretty much commit to blue-black for the most part. I'm not saying, you can swap colors afterwards, but that dual color card is something that makes you kind of swing one way than the other. White looks to be pretty decent, as Sigarda's Imprisonment's actually a pretty good card, as well as something like a Kindly Ancestor, as it's a 3-mana 2/3 with lifelink, and then we can disturb it and give something lifelink if it dies. Outside of that, we do have the Dig Up rare, which is interesting, but it's not really like an amazing rare compared to actually some of the uncommons and commons of this pack. Outside of that, there's still like draw, 2 cards, lose 2 life, then create a blood token's okay, but it's not definitely a pick 1. Scattered Thoughts, same thing. Look, top 4 cards, put 2 of those cards into your hand, the rest in the graveyard. Not bad, but not great. We also have Wolfkin Outcast, 6 mana, 5/4. And makes, this spell costs 2 less to cast if you control a wolf or a werewolf, so it can cost, possibly 4 mana for a 5/4, and then if it becomes nighttime, it becomes a 6/5, and then whenever it or another werewolf we control dies, we get to draw a card, which is also not bad. So definitely, a lot of ways that we can go here. And it's definitely one of those things that, I don't really have a color preference I really want to play. Werewolves are definitely cool, I think, for the most parts. Zombies, I think, are pretty decent in this set, just because in this set we don't get the zombie tokens with Decay. We get regular zombie tokens, which are also pretty awesome. And the Disturb is a little bit different than Midnight Hunt, in the sense that it all the Disturb cards now are enchantments instead of actual creatures, so we really get an additional enchantment aura as an additional effect. So I think I'm gonna actually, start off with green and kind of see what happens. As I do think, while white is pretty decent, I would say I want to try to see what werewolves we can get out of this. Maybe build like a decent werewolf deck, which is definitely pretty cool. All right, on pack 2, we definitely have some pretty decent pulls here. We do have the Spore Crawler here, which is a 3-mana 3/2 that when it dies we get to draw a card. Red's not really open in this pack in the sense that there's only one card and it's just more of a pump spell than anything. But we do actually, get a Packsong Pup, which is another great card that is good for a wolf/werewolf deck because at the beginning of our combat in each turn, we get to put a +1/+1 counter on the pup, and when it dies, we gain life equal to its power. And itself is also a wolf, so that's definitely pretty awesome. Yeah, another Sigarda's Imprisonment, but it's something that doesn't really go well with going something like a werewolf. So I'm going to take the Packsong Pup as it's probably one of the best cards in the pack if we're going to try to go wolves or werewolves. Pack number 2, yet again, we got another Packsong Pup, so we can definitely go there. Reckless Impulse is definitely not a bad card for some card advantage, but it is kind of one of those things you have to use those cards by the end of your next turn. Massive Might is a pump spell. We got Rural Recruit, which is just a creature that creates a 4 token, but it's not a wolf or a werewolf. But I think you take the Packsong Pup because it is a solid 2-drop, I think. And it's definitely a good way to get some life gain. Pack number 4, red's okay. We got End of Festivities. It deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. Not really amazing. Daybreak Combatant, so Human Warrior with haste, and it gives when it enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+0 to end a turn. But itself is not a wolf or a werewolf. We also got the Weaver of Blossoms here. It's a 2/3 human werewolf that we get to add 1 mana of any color. And then when it turns nighttime, we get to add 2 mana of any color. It becomes a 3/4. So that's actually not a bad pickup, I would say, from that pack. Pack number 5. Let's see what we got going on here. Red, yet again, like I said, it's not really available here. There's not really any wolves or werewolves. Toxic Scorpion is not a bad card in itself, that it's a 1/1 Death Toucher that when it enters the battlefield, we give target creature control Death Touch to end a turn, so it allows us to attack in a little bit aggressively, which should be pretty good. Forbidden Statue is actually not bad either. It's a 3-mana 1/2 that we can add 1 mana of any color. We get to put an Omen counter on it, and then if it has 3 or more Omen counters, we get to at the end of turn, it becomes a 5/5. And then at the beginning of our pre-combat main phase, add 1 mana of any color. But it's not a bad card. I wouldn't say it's an amazing card because I'm not sure if we're going to really need a ton of mana fixing, but I know Crimson Vow doesn't have a ton, so it's probably a toss-up between either the Toxic Scorpion or possibly the Forbidden Statue, and this will actually help us also, if we have to splash another color, if we get something decent later, this will definitely help us fix that mana if we want to play that. So I think I'm going to go with the Forbidden Statue. Pack number 6. Coming around here, yet again, red does not seem to be pretty available, or there just hasn't been a lot of red in the pack. So we do have, I would say, probably 2 key cards here that we can look at in green. We got the Weaver of Blossoms if we want another one, and then we also have the Snarling Wolf, which is a 1-mana 1/1 that we can pay 2 and give it +2/+2. We can activate it only once each turn, but it itself is also wolf/werewolf. And it's definitely, it's a toss-up between these two. This Rural Recruit's not something that we want to pick this early. And I think we'd probably take the mana fixing yet again, just because we're still fairly early. I mean, we could go red also here, but it's definitely not something that we have completely decided on. In pack number 7 here, we have, not too much in the way of red. Blue and black seem to be kind of open. For the most part, it seems like there's a lot of blue and black cards in the packs in general. But we got a Hookhand Mariner. It's a 4-mana 4/4, which is definitely pretty great. And then if it flips over to nighttime, it can be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, so it makes it actually hard to chump block. And your opponent has to really commit real creatures to. And then we also have another Toxic Scorpion, but I think we take the Hookhand Mariner just because it helps us with our wolf/werewolf deck that we're trying to play here. Pack number 8, yet again, it's one of those things that there really isn't too much in the way of red. Green is kind of here. We got Laid to Rest, that whenever a human we control dies, we get to draw a card, and whenever a creature we control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, we gain 2 life. I don't know if we're going to get a lot of things that are going to give us +1/+1 counters for the most part. I mean, other than the Packsong Pup, that's definitely something that's a possibility, but I don't know if it definitely works here. We could take the Pump card, which is okay. Wedding Invitation's not great, but it's there. Zombie. We got an Ancestral Anger. It's a 1-mana sorcery that the target creature gains trample and gets +X/+0. X is 1 plus the number of cards named this in our graveyard. We get to draw a card. It's definitely a tough one, I would say, for the most part when it comes to picking out here. Human, and then we have the wolf, and then we have Construct. So it's definitely, I'm kind of, stuck between I think we take the 1 copy of Massive Might, also gives Trample, so that's not bad, and it's only 1 mana, so Massive Might is the pick. This pack really isn't anything in particular good for us. Sure Strike's okay, because it gets +3/+0 on first strike. Nature's Embrace, Enchanted Creature or land. Enchanted Permanent is a creature, it gets +2/+2. As long as Enchanted Permanent is a land, it gets tap it, add 2 mana, and a 1 color. It's okay, but I mean, we really don't need a ton of mana fixing so far, because we are primarily just green. In white, we have a 4 mana 4/2 that when it attacks, we may pay 1 if we do gain indestructible, which isn't too bad. Whenever it casts an enchantment spell, we gain 2 life. We're not really playing a ton of enchantments. Cradle Safety, enters battlefield, enchanted creature gets hexproof on a turn, and creature gets +1/+1. I think we take the Sure Strike because I feel like we're gonna be aggressive, and you know, werewolves are good in red. Ragged Recluse. We'll put this in the side as it's the best card probably here, and none of the other cards are really playable in our deck. Maybe we'll splash black. We'll take another Massive Might because it's in our colors. Vampire Slayer's okay, but it's not really, you know, I guess it's not something I'm really looking forward, you know, to. End of Festivities, yet again, not amazing. Shelter and Burrows, enters battlefield, draw a card, and turn the creatures +1/+3. Ceremonial Knife is not bad in the sense that it gives target creature +1/+0, and then whenever this creature deals combat damage, we get to create a blood token, which blood tokens help filter out lands in the late game. It's Toxic Scorpion filters around, so we'll take that one. And Honored Heirloom, we'll just throw it in the sideboard. All right, so in pack number 2, or pack 2, I guess for us, our rare is Cemetery Gatekeeper, 2 mana, 2/1 for a striker that enters battlefield, exile a card from graveyard whenever it plays a land, or cast a spell if the shares a card type with the exile card. It deals 2 damage to that player. So it's definitely one of those interesting cards. It's definitely a good card to take. I think vampires will be definitely an interesting spot come post rotation. So it's definitely something we can take that will definitely benefit our deck. Flourishing Hunter is another great card. It's a 6 mana 6/6 that when it comes in the battlefield, we gain life equal to the card with the highest toughness that we control other than itself. So definitely not bad there. A little bit of life gain. Hungry Ridge Wolf is another good card, but I don't think it's a card you pick 1. Another Forbidding Statue there. But I think it's really between the Flourishing Hunter and the Cemetery Gatekeeper. But if we're going to play red, I would say we take the Gatekeeper because it can really tax our opponent in the late game. And it's actually not a bad early drop anyway because it is a 2/1, 2/2, or 2 mana 2/1 with first strike that can also, you know, penalize our opponent if we decide if they're like, you know, we take a card of a particular thing and they get dealt damage that way. Pack number 2, we have the rare still. Our colors really aren't available in this pack. We got the Dawnheart Disciple that whenever another human enters the battlefield under control, it gets +1/+1 to end a turn. It's okay, it's not great. We got Seek Fire Breather, 2 mana 1/3 that whenever a non-creature spell, we're really more creature focused. That's not really good for us. We have Weaver of Blossom, so we can get just another werewolf. We can get a Grondlock, Omnivore. It's a 3/3 that whenever a frog we control attacks, mill 3 cards. Whenever a permanent card is put into a graveyard from our library, exile it with a crow counter on it, and we may play lands and cast spells among them we own with crow counters on them. I don't really know if we could probably splash blue, but you know, it's not really something that's going to work well with our deck. So I think we take the Weaver just because it is a pretty decent 3 mana 2/3 that becomes a 3/4. And now we have like all the mana fixing in the world. Pick number 3 and pack number 3. We got Child of the Pack, which is definitely pretty good. It's definitely a card that can help us in the late game if we have extra mana, as we can tap 4 mana and create a 2/2 green wolf token creature. And then when it's nighttime, other creatures we control get +1/+0. So it's like it's a you know, werewolf lord. So I think that's probably the pick. But there's also Apprentice Sharpshooter, which is not bad, especially because it has reach and it can block things in the air. And on top of that, it has training. So if we attack it with things with greater power, it'll get a +1/+1 counter on it, and it'll get bigger and bigger over time. But I think the Child of the Pack, it makes the most sense here just because it works well with our archetype that we're trying to build. Pack number 4, pick round 2, we have the Sporeback Wolf, which isn't bad as long as it's our turn, it gets +0/+2, so it becomes a pretty, you know, has a pretty big toughness, which is not bad, and that pairs up very well if we get that werewolf that we gain life. Hookhand Mariner is also really good, 4/4 for 4, and then it can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, so maybe another one of those would be very aggressive. You got Lightning Wolf, which is a 4 mana 4/3. It gains first strike, activate only as a sorcery, so it's not the best ability, but it's still not a bad card. But I think we take the Hook Hand Mariner, and I think maybe one of these other 2 cards could rotate around. Pack number 5. Not really too much in here. We have Bloody Betrayal, 3 mana, gain control target creature on a turn, on tap it, it gains haste, and then create a blood token. Don't really have a good way to take advantage of that and like take something and like say sack. We're not really playing black, we're not really playing blue. White's kind of out of the picture, so I think it's just another massive might. Now we have 3 of them, that's kind of a lot. Pick 6, not really too much in the way of a lot of things that are really playable. Gift of Fangs, Sanguine Statuette, Undead Butler, good cards, but just not in our color. Millipede, we're not really milling things into our like graveyard, so it's not really going to come in big. Another Rural Recruit's not something I'm really highly on. I think we take a Sporeback Wolf just because it's a 2 mana, and that just gives us a 4th, 2 mana play, which is actually not bad. Pack 7, or pick 7, I should say. The Evolving Wilds for more mana filtering. I mean, we have things that can filter mana, but it's still not a bad card. But other than that, there's not really much here. You got Nature's Embrace, Train a Creature Land, and then it's just black and white cards. So I think we take the Evolving Wilds because it's still not bad to filter our mana. Lacerate Flesh isn't too bad. It deals 4 damage to target creature. Create a number of blood tokens equal to the amount of excess damage dealt to that creature this way. So that's a little bit of removal, and we don't really have a ton, so we could probably take that. And then the green cards really aren't not anything that we really want, so we'll take the Lacerate Flesh. So I think our original pack rotated around, so this is like what we originally had when we opened. So it's right now between the Hungry Ridgewolf, which is a 2 mana 2/2, but as long as we control another wolf or werewolf, it gets +1/+0 and trample, so it becomes a pretty decent aggressive attacker. You have Reckless Impulse as a little bit of like a way to dig a little bit deeper, but I think because we don't have a ton of top end, I think we take the Flourishing Hunter because it's 6 mana 6/6, and we gain life out of it, so definitely not bad there. Yeah, I mean, there's not much in the way of that works well with our deck. I think we take the Dawnhart Disciple because it is a 2 mana 2/2. I think it's +1/+1 for every human we play after it, so it's not bad, but though it's not a werewolf. This one doesn't seem to be really that great unless we think our opponent's gonna have a lot of like small creatures that can ping a lot of damage, so we take the 2 mana 2/2. The Apprentice Sharpshooter rotates around, so that's good, so we can take that, as that's definitely something that can help us block things in the air. I guess we'll take a Laid to Rest, but it's not really something I'm probably going to play. We'll just take a Skeleton, and then we'll take a Bramble Armor, though we're probably not going to play it. Alright, last pack that rotates around. I think we take the Rending Flame, just because that's more removal. I just saw that right off the bat. The red cards are okay. The green cards really aren't here. The Jacob Hawken Inspector is definitely a good card, though we're not playing that color, so it's definitely one of the things I'm probably not going to take just because of that. But this is definitely a strong card. It's a 3 mana instant spell that can deal 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that permanent is a spirit, Rending Flame deals also 2 damage to that permanent's controller, so it's definitely pretty good for this. It's a 3 mana 5 damage, so that's amazing at instant speed. Wolf Strike's really good if we're playing with the Night and Day cycle, because it gives target creature +2/+0 if it's night, and then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature we don't control, so that's definitely not bad. The Snarling Wolf is also pretty good, but it's not something I would probably take over removal. The Sure Strike, okay, but not great. Frenzied Devils is okay, but we're not really playing a ton of non-creature spells other than like a couple removal spells, so it's definitely something that we're not really going to try to pump really that good with our deck. So I think it's the Wolf Strike just because removal's okay, especially because we're limited on it. Let's see. We got Massive Might. That would make 4 copies. We probably don't need that many. We got Voldaren Epicure, just a 1 mana 1/1, and we get a blood token. It's not a wolf or a werewolf, but it's still a good card because it will just kind of ping a point of damage, so it's not bad there. And then the rest of it's just blue and black cards and white cards, so I'm really not playing those colors. So I think it's the Epicure just because the other, I would say Massive Might, but we already have 3 copies of. Here we have an Ancient Lumberknot, but we're not really playing a high toughness deck, so that's not really playable. Catapult Fodder is an interesting card. As we start flinging things at our opponent's face, it'll finish them off, which is actually pretty cool. The red cards, non-creature spell, 1 damage across the board. This is okay. It's a 3 mana 2/2 that gives target creature +2/+0 into end of turn. But I think we take the Evolving Wilds just to help filter our lands a little bit more, just in case we don't draw our mana fixers. Let's see. Pack 5, or pick 5, I should say. Got another Flourishing Hunter, which isn't bad. We have Falkenrath Celebrant, which is a 5-mana 4/4 that enters the battlefield. We hit 2 blood tokens, which aren't bad, and it also has Menace, so it becomes a pretty tough blocker, or something it's tough to block. But it is a vampire, so it doesn't fit in our Warlock archetype, but it's still like a really good card. Our 2-drops are okay, I think. We're at 7 2-drops, 5 of them being, I believe, spells, and 1 or 2 of them being creatures, or 1 of them 2 being spells, and the rest all being creatures. I think we take the Creature of Menace just to make it a little harder to block, especially if we can keep up board presence. Nothing really that works well here, so I'll probably just take something just to try to take it. I'll take the Purifier. Seems like a pretty decent card just to have copies of. We'll take the Scavenger just because it's another good card, but it's not really in our color wheel. Nothing really that works well what we're trying to do here. Can't block. Whenever we sacrifice 1 or more blood tokens, target creature can't block this turn. It's okay, but we're not really a vampire deck and playing a ton of blood tokens. I mean, the Traveling Minister is not bad, but we're not playing white. We'll take the Combatants. It's not a bad card for our colors. Reckless Impulse has a little bit of draw, and then we can play those cards. Epicure is also not bad because it gives us another 1-mana drop, which is pretty good. We'll take the draw card just to kind of give us a way to dig a little bit deeper in case we get a little thin-handed. Here, we'll probably take the Sure Strike just because it's in our color wheel. I guess I'll take a 4th copy of Massive Might. I guess I'll take another Daybreak. Combatants. None of these cards really matter, and Honored Heirloom also doesn't really matter. So overall, not a bad draft, I don't think. We got definitely a lot of good cards. Maybe not a ton of cards that work, super well, but I think our Gruul is definitely very strong, and it's definitely our Draftsman's recommendation is also saying Gruul. So if I click this, it will kind of tell me what to cut. It's telling us to actually cut the Lacerate Flesh, which is definitely interesting, but the Late to Rest makes sense because we're not playing a bunch. Terrible Knife is interesting. It's definitely telling us to cut some of those Massive Mites. We really don't need those. Part of me really wants to keep that Lacerate Flesh, just because I feel like it's okay, and maybe we just get rid of our Foreboding Statue, just because while it's good, it doesn't really do much to really push until it gets those counters on it, and we already have a pretty decent amount of Weaver of Blossoms, so it's like, do we need that many things that fix mana? Because our removal is really not a ton. We have a Render in Flame, we would have a Lacerate Flesh, we would have wherever that Wolf Strike is, and other than that, I think everything else is more of combat tricks, like our Massive Mites, and that's about it. So I would say we probably keep the Lacerate Flesh and just cut something else. I think it's either 1 Weaver or we cut the Forbidden Statue. I mean, because the Weaver at least has a little bit of toughness, so it can block okay. This is a 1/2 until it becomes a 5/5, but does become a 5/5, and she only becomes 3/4. And I think our lands are fine, so I think I cut a Weaver and call it a day there and see how that works. So I'm going to dive into games. I'll probably narrate some of the games and kind of talk through my plays. And then after that, we'll jump back in and kind of talk about the wrap-up and things like that. So stay tuned. So our opening hand's not bad. We have 3 lands. We'll play probably the Evolving Wilds turn 1, and we already have a turn 2 play, so we're definitely in a good position there. So Evolving Wilds. We'll crack it for... I think we go with double green. Just because. Looks like they're playing something Simic. We'll play the Sporeback Wolf before we play the Paxson Pup, just because this won't grow this turn, and at least Sporeback Wolf, if it stays back, is definitely not bad. And then this is a turn where they kind of tap out, which is good for us. And I think this is where we play something like our Paxson Pup, which then will grow. So our packs on pups growing up. We'll swing it for 2. They're at 18. We'll kind of save them massive might until we want to maybe do some sort of combat trick, and they kind of keep on looking at this, and we don't really have cards in our graveyard to exile. Sure. They're not going to exploit because it's the only creature. They probably want to keep pressure on us. So let's see. We can Reckless Impulse, dig for a land, which isn't too bad. And then we still have our... we still have... Really? Sure. We swing in, just because. Maybe they block, maybe they don't block. They block. We'll give a +2/+2 and trample. You can add 1 mana of any color. Is there a bounce spell? Sure. So you take more damage? Because that's trample? It's definitely kind of a bummer that we did lose out on having land. They're looking at our packs on pup, which I guess maybe they're trying to figure out if they can remove it. They can maybe bounce it. So they play the Scab again. And they're returning target instant back to their hand. And they're going to bounce the pup back, I assume. Sure. Still taking 2. We'll go dig in. I'll get another red now, and I think that kind of helps us out. We'll play a statue here, just in case they play something that goes in our way. We lose out on 2 cards, which is unfortunate, but that will definitely help us kind of, be at least caught up in mana, just because we are behind a turn mana-wise. Sure. Not bad for them. And we lost out on our mana, which is unfortunate. I guess we start the Nightbound Daybound cycle. We can't attack. We didn't draw a land there, so that's why we couldn't really attack. If I would have had the mana open, I would have played a Lacerate Flesh. Sure. I'll take 4. Kind of interesting that they didn't put Death Touch on it. And I think this is a time to put pressure on them. So they really can't play creatures for the most part, or they're gonna die. So we'll take their zombie. Yeah, we'll say go. Their Scorpion can't attack in right now because our first striker, unless their first striker grows, which they may have a fight spell. That's fine. We'll take 4. We'll play Weaver. We'll play Epicure. We'll grow. We'll say go. Now, part of me thinks that they could have used their fight spell here and just targeted damage from their Scorpion to anything, just because Death Touch is good there. Sure. We're exploiting? Which is interesting, right? That they exploited to get back a bounce spell or a fight spell? I mean, they can fight if they want to. I don't know why they're fighting our creature that's getting bigger. I felt like they probably should have done it slightly differently if I was them. We'll kill their biggest creature. We'll get another blood token. This will go up to 4. We swing for 4. They may block. They may not block. They block. Interesting. Which is good for us, because that means they can't put much pressure on us, and they're just top deck mode. And we really haven't ourselves drawn our removal. I know I only have like 4 removal cards, but... They flip? Sure. And we'll get rid of a mountain. Draw a card. We'll get rid of a forest. Alright, I guess we're just gonna have land. Part of me wants to attack here, but part of me wants to wait until I know that they have something. Like, they could have a land, they could have a spell. If they have a bounce spell, that's good for them. If they don't, they don't. Like, if they had themselves their +2/+2, my wolf would die. That's fine. So I feel like it's safer for me to hold back. They also can't attack in. They have a ton of mana. Is that lethal? It's lethal. Okay. We're on the play. Hand's okay. I am missing land, so hopefully we draw that. And we really don't have anything to grow our packs on pup, so it'll just be a 1/1 until we get to turn 4. Yeah, this is awkward. Sweet. So we didn't draw a land, but we draw another wolf. Yeah, missing a land. Kind of not good for us. Sure. 2/3 menace. Nightbound Daybound cycle. We'll swing. See what they want to do here. They block. We pump. Tax their possible creatures that come out in the future. And then we're just ahead. So we're in a good position, I would say, this early. Because they're going to take, 2 points of damage just for playing a creature. Sure. And they could have a fight spell, which is okay. I'm just going to be aggressive because they have a 2/1. And they get a blood token out of it, but we still tax their creatures. So any creature that they put on the board to be a threat, we're kind of ahead on that. And now we have a 4/4. I take 2, but I'm at 24. So I'm not like behind. And now they're behind life point total wise, and every creature they play go forward actually will just slowly, eat away at their life points. So it's really not in a good position right now. So they really just need something to kind of, stop the bleeding, I guess is the best way to put it. I'll make that trade. And I'll play my own. It's fine. I'm at 20. They're at 6. Sweet. And I think that was an easy game too. Just had it right, even though we were behind land-wise. All right, we're platinum tier 4. All right, on the play, hand's okay. I mean, it's, you know, it's a little slow, but I don't think it's that bad. We could probably, you know, play Epic here turn 1 and then take turn 2 off unless we draw turn 2 and then play Evolve and Wild. So definitely, you know, not in a bad spot here. So Epic here it is. We also get a blood token, which is good in case we somehow miss lands yet again, because our deck, for some reason, even though we play 17 lands, we always get stuck at a land count for some reason at like 3 or 4. Nice. Yeah, I mean, we just do this. I'll make the trade. We're both at 19. I don't care. You know, they have it, you know? Sure. I'm not really going to cycle my blood token just yet, because I think we're doing okay there. And I'll take your creature. And end turn. And our Gatekeeper is definitely in a good spot here, just because it is a 2/1 for a striker, so it blocks their possible 3/2. And it yet again starts taxing them every time they play a creature, so it puts us in a good spot. Sure. Some stick. It's probably a sure strike. See, there's stick. So they probably had something that they wanted to play. Sure. It's interesting, right? That they do that now. Even though, like, I feel that they could have possibly gotten that additional points of damage, you know? And if they let it to flip tonight, that's actually not bad for us. They have 5 mana. Could be a little bit of anything. Got a Scorpion. Sure. Tax them. Probably give their 2/3 Death Touch, which makes sense. Well, we'll first strike the Trampler. If they pump it, they pump it, and they waste their pump. I don't know, because I don't think there's a fight spell. That's fine. Like, they had to have, you know, a trick, so definitely all good. 4 mana, we get Wolves. Didn't get a land though, which kind of sucks. I think we do this. We'll get pumped up. You know, we have something that can gain some life. Keep it from flipping over. I think we get, like, their big thing out of the way. So they're tapping specifically, so they want to make sure red mana is open since it's their only red mana. So they filter probably a land out. So maybe they're trying to find, like, a fight spell or something. They kind of... I'll take 1, go to 7. Maybe they're going to try to let it flip. Which is good for us, I think. Play a land. Play a wolf. Okay, so they don't want it to flip. Got it. It's always awkward, right? When you're like, you want to do more stuff, but you're missing land. So I know we're behind, but I don't think we're in a bad spot being behind. And we're not in a position that we need to really... Okay, so they're just emptying the hand. Got it. Let's see. What flips? This flips to a 3/4. We'll say go. Things flip. It makes our other things bigger. Also, our Wolf Strike's really good here. So they may have enough to put enough pressure on us. Sure. We'll kill it. Fine. Let's see. That goes to 6. Can we kill them? We're not dead, but we could definitely put some pressure on them. And let's see if they block. I mean, they have to block or they're dead. We know that for sure. But do they block enough is the real question. Because they may just throw some chumpies here, you know? And just kind of like think they can chump. And then kick us back on the backswing. Sure. So that's 3 over. That's 7. So they're gonna block the wolf is the question. So they double block? No? Okay. Sure. Sure. We pump here. We kill. Here. And mostly everything lives. We lose everything, but we get a bunch of cards too. We gain some life, get some lands, we get a Lacerate Flesh, and we're kind of ahead, even though it was kind of a little bit of a risk for the most part for us to go ahead and put that much effort in here. And then we also have a creature now that can produce wolves every time we tap for 4. And now they're digging, and they got land. And they're digging again, which means they probably still have land. They got another land. Iflis back to night, which is good. We'll swing 5, which is good for us. And we play a Hookhand Mariner, and we say go. Sure. And they don't do anything. But why'd they scoop? Is the real question, right? They have a 7/7. Opponent goes first. Hand's a little bit slow, but I think it's okay. So if we can get to that like late game, we'll be in a fine position. We'll grab a green mana just because that's the only color we don't have. A little bit of red white, which is okay. All right, they don't have anything. I think we put a forbidden statue on the battlefield just because that will eventually become a 5/5 if we tap it enough times. Edgar, interesting. Definitely a good card. I think we play our Falconwrath Celebrants, get some blood, get a counter. Sure. I'll take 4. Sure. Blood Fountain, fine. All right. A lot of blood. Sack and blood. Sure. Still sack and blood. Getting creatures back. Sack and blood. Got it. Sure. Make it a 3/3. That's fine. I feel like our opponent's somehow in panic mode. A lot of green. I'll attack. You can kill it if you want. Trade it. It's fine. You don't drain me for 1. No? We're just taking it? Sure. Sweet. Still not attacking, though. Really? We're just going to draw a ton of land, aren't we? Our opponent's thinking that we're probably not drawing much. Sure. No tax. I'll sack my 1/1. Yep. Sure. I'll block. You're at 18. Sweet. You gonna get me the card that I have to sacrifice something? Sure. Sure. Yep. Sure. Are they gonna play their guy? I feel like they should. Interesting. Yep. Sure. Discard a card, it gains destructible on a turn, tap it. If there are 4 more creatures in the graveyard, transform it. Its power and toughness equals to other cards in the graveyard. Discard a card, it gains destructible. All right, we keep on going. Sure. I'm very surprised they're just very hesitant. Oh, man. They should just swing out, which is kind of weird. Because I think I'm dead if they do. Sure. I will also get rid of my 2/2. Nothing. Interesting. Land. Sure. I'm surprised they also haven't done this. Do they not have a lot of creatures? That's what you chose? Sure. I just don't understand why they never attacked. They would have just killed me last turn. If they would have attacked all plus pumped, they would have been dead, regardless of flipping their creature. Oh. Oh. Okay. I don't know, I heard something explode, but I haven't even gotten into the game yet. Draw? Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I guess the matchmaker bugged out. On the play, no green. Don't draw a green, we're kind of dead. We're at a 45% chance, roughly, to draw a green, but part of me thinks the safe place to mulligan, which I guess we're not penalized, but not bad. And I think we take the Massive Might and we put it in the deck just because we at least have a draw, we have a 2-mana creature, we have a 4-mana creature, so not bad there. And playing Cemetery Gatekeeper here doesn't seem like the smart idea if they don't have anything, and that's not great. Was not hoping to draw one of our removal spells so early. Wedding Invitation, fine. Land. And we just say go. Fortunately, having to throw our one removal spell into the sideboard there. Yep. We'll start the Daybound Nightbound cycle. So, yep, that's fine. We'll get rid of a land. I don't really need it. I mean, you can sack the Invitation. Interesting. I don't think there's a pump card, so I will make that exchange. Seems kind of aggressive, to be quite honest. They still gain 4 regardless, but it's probably not the play I would make so early like that. I'll play the Child of the Pack. because it blocks their 2/2. Though it will probably draw out one of the removal spells if they do have one. Sure. That was the one thing that I knew was going to happen there. Only creatures in their graveyard. Just in case they don't get that back. Definitely in a tough spot, though I feel like we're also playing the same person we literally just last played, if I'm not mistaken. Sure. They're gonna get a lot of blood here. That's fine. No blocks. Because they only get a blood for it. Pax on Pup is not what we're looking for. And we're now behind, so this is great. And we don't even have a wolf, so definitely not the best that we've gotten from our deck. The problem is if we would have chump block last turn, we would still just be taking as much pressure this turn. I'll block. Yep. And what's the big play? I mean, it's fine, I guess. They're gonna probably discard to flip it. Maybe they were thinking of what to discard. And maybe they have a follow-up play. Yeah, I mean, not looking great. Not looking great. Interesting. I'm so far behind. It's not even funny. Yep. Just be able to filter their hand. I mean, I guess they're probably looking for some sort of removal, is my best guess. A lot of land. Might as well put a little bit of pressure on them. They could sacrifice their invitation. That's weird. Thought they would do that. Because if you sacrifice, target creature can't be blocked this turn. Seems like a super misplay by them. I'm just gonna get out of here, just because I don't know what my opponent's doing. Now, I'm kind of curious though, because I felt like I played that guy. Literally the last game. Hand's okay. Opponent goes first. We're on the draw, which is unfortunate. We'll just get the Evolving Wilds out of the way. Pick up second red. Gatekeeper's just not that good this early, just because I don't have anything to play with it. What does this do? Interesting. You know, I'll just play Gatekeeper, because it makes it awkward. Sure. I'll take one. Sure. Take 3. Nice. Swing at 4. Down to 8. Land. Yep. Why? I don't know why. All right, I guess they're getting defensive. Swing a 4. We're down a 4. They're at 14. Oh, man. I'll swing all out. See what they do. They got a block a little bit. Sure. No? Can't block with anything else? Sure. Sure. No? Sure. Can't block with anything else. Heck, only block with the 3/3 there. Sure. No? That is the blocks. Interesting. Interesting. Let's give a trample then a turn. Double trample. See what they do. There's some hesitation. That is what they were figuring out. Interesting. Out of everything they were delayed on, they were they thought about that. Well, tough loss for us here with our draft deck, which started out very well, going 3-0, then kind of faltering out towards the end as we kind of didn't really get the best of draws towards the end as well. Even with, I think, Mulligan in one of those games, it just didn't work out that great for us, but we did finish out with 3 wins, so we got 300 gems and an additional pack. We'll click claim prize. Got lucky. We got the additional pack, so we have 2 packs of Crimson Vow, 300 additional gems, puts us at 980 total gems here, which is definitely not that bad. We didn't really get a lot of daily wins, and we just barely missed out getting, playing 40 lands, so definitely interested there. I'm just gonna open my quick packs real quick just to kind of see what we got inside. Nothing really crazy. We got 2 mythic wild cards back to back, one from the wheel and the other one from the pack itself, which is definitely not that bad. And then in our last pack, we got a rare wild card. So, okay, not that bad. Luck when it comes to overall rares. So now we have 25 commons, 16 uncommons, 1 rare, and 2 mythic rares, which is definitely pretty decent, which is definitely something we could use if we want to go ahead into our other decks, and we can, either upgrade something like our Dimir Ninjas deck or even our Rakdos Anvil deck. Those are 2 possibilities there. We can't really do anything with our, our overall Selesnya Enchantments deck, even though technically I thought I had. I guess I'm at 16 uncommon, so I'm missing 4 uncommon cards to craft that. But still not that bad. Even though the draft didn't go the way I thought it was going to go, I felt like I did pretty okay overall. It's just one of those things that sometimes you just get dealt, tough cards. We did make it to Platinum, which is a benefit of our limited rank, so we are now in Platinum. Tier 4, which is definitely pretty decent, which allows us, if you're not really sure with the rewards, that when you get to Platinum, at the end of the month, you end up getting 3 packs of whatever the current set is that they're releasing, 100 gold, and you get both of the special card arts that they give out as the cosmetic, which is definitely, pretty decent, I think, overall. And that is actually the maximum amount of gold that you'll get for rewards, as really all they do as you get to the higher ranks is just give you additional packs to open, which isn't the worst, but it's definitely, something. And then with Constructed, same thing. We're at gold rank. If we get to platinum rank, we'll get another 1,000 gold. We'll get the 2 same card styles, which is really not that great. And we'll get 3 packs there, so that's a total of 6 packs, and all we had to do was play a little bit of ranked in both, and it's definitely something that is another good way that you can kind of keep on doing this with a free-to-play account, month after month. Even if you just play a game or in bronze of both, you can at least get 1 free pack. getting to gold is definitely not that bad either, because, you get the max amount of gold that you'll reward it. You don't get a ton of packs, but, you still get 2 packs and get 1 cosmetic, but definitely not that bad. And it's definitely something that is definitely possible, just because, bronze and silver ranks, you get 2 progress ranks for every win you get. And I think until you hit silver, you don't lose any progress from bronze. So silver is definitely possible. And then gold, I think, is definitely possible, having even a decent deck overall. Yeah, and like I said, this is definitely something I want to test out. I don't know if this is something that I'll probably save up again and do, because I kind of want to see where I was at. Crimson Vow is definitely a very interesting set. I think we definitely just got, the rough end of the stick when we went 3-0 initially, and we just didn't draw properly to kind of continue that momentum. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below overall with, the progress of the challenge. Hopefully that you guys enjoyed the video. I know I'll kind of see how the games went and see how I edit the videos of our actual drafting process, and maybe we'll kind of maybe I'll kind of cut some of it a little bit, just because it did run a little bit long, as we are sitting at about an hour and a half so far of recorded footage. And I'll kind of go through and I'll kind of skim it and probably get the good pieces, and maybe maybe I'll do a little bit of talking over where I think there's some things I probably could have done a little bit differently in our draft games. But overall, I did the best I think we could have done with the hands that were dealt. But let me know in the comments below, guys. If you like the video, hit that like button, definitely helps out a lot. If you're new here, you want to know what post new videos on the channel, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Just want to give a special shout out to the channel members here on my YouTube channel. You can also become a channel member yourself down below the video, hitting that join button. It definitely helps out a lot, and I just appreciate you guys for your support.